All right, let's help them out. What are some small things you can do for fun? Play a game, okay? What else? Go see a movie. What else? Be with your grandkids. That's great. Casino night, which you'll be doing tonight, so even better. What else? Scrapping. Scrapbooking. What else? Bike ride. Okay? Playing with animals. Going to a dog park. You know, lots and lots of things that you can do to increase the fulfillment in that area. Again, what we're talking about right now is having fun and having a balanced life. As I mentioned, which is the second secret of life, God bless you, is to have fun. The question that I posed to you earlier is, are you having fun? Are you having fun in your life? Because if you're not having fun in your life, you are bringing that energy to work. I guarantee it. And that's not necessarily the positive psychological climate that Carl Rogers as well as Stephen Covey talks about. All right? So the first secret of life was to what? Well, that was a tool. The breathing was a tool. The first secret of life was to remember that we all have our psychological needs that need to be addressed. It will be a test later on, yes. The second secret of life is to have fun. Okay? So again, and by the way, with this life pie, I use it with all of my clients. I have them do this at least once every 3 months. And I have them use a different color pen or marker so they can see how they're growing, or maybe sometimes how they're not. So they can be on top of changes in their lives. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So, as a little reminder, and to go a little bit deeper into this issue, in this topic, the 3 psychological needs to survive are understood, affirmed, and appreciated. Let's go quickly into the first 2. The first 2, what are the best ways of really addressing those, which are understood and affirmed? By listening. Okay? Now I'm going to get really simplistic for the next couple of minutes. Because we need to return back to the basics. Simply by listening attentively, will you respond to their first 2 needs of being understood and affirmed by listening. There's a quote, one of my friend's managers said this quote to him, not really sure where he got it or he stole it from somebody else. But he said, a good leader is someone who listens and appears to care. What does this mean? Appears to care. I feel your pain kind of stuff when you really don't. Sometimes it's just, you need to appear to care. And how you appear to care, even if you don't even understand what they're saying, is simply by listening. Right? And we're going to go over a couple of tools to do that. Carl Rogers, once again, in his book, A Way of Being, says, listen with your ears, but more importantly, listen with your heart and with your eyes. When you listen, you learn. You inspire loyalty that goes well beyond the 8 to 5 physical demands of the job. See, we're talking about some simple psychology here, and yet see how powerful it really does apply to our work. If you make someone feel understood and affirmed, they will trust you, and they'll go the extra mile for you. Does anyone agree with that? Okay. All right. And I apologize, by the way, if I'm being redundant in what you already know. But I think a lot of us need to rehear it again. So I have a question for you. Do you know when you have others' attention? Do you know when you have others' attention? Yes. Do you know when you don't? Why wouldn't it be the other way around? Right? So why wouldn't one of your people that are listening to you, if they know that you're not really listening, you're not really caring, of course they're going to know that you're not listening and you're not caring. Okay? So the more that you can do and listen and be present is the more that they will feel that. And by the way, that's energetic. They'll feel that on an energetic level. So let's do some little do's and don'ts of listening. And I'm sure half of you in this room are guilty as well as I am sometimes. Except when I'm working. Don'ts of listening. Don't respond to emails. So, John, what were you saying? Oh, really? Really? What's happening? Oh, I'm so sorry. Your mom. Oh, yeah. No. Don't be responding to emails. What else? Don't answer calls on the cell phone. Oh, I'll agree with you in a minute when you're interrupting them that's talking about something. The other one is the good old text. Ouch. That one hurt, right? These are the don'ts when you're listening to someone. Don't interrupt unless, by the way, it's to clarify something. Like, I'm sorry, what was that? Or what was it? I didn't catch it. Do not interrupt them. Let them have their space. The don'ts of listening. Now let's talk about the do's. Do give 100% of your attention. And what does that look like? It looks like eye contact. It looks like open body positioning. You know, this is not open body positioning. What do you want? I'm here for you. You know? Tell me. What? So important, body language. And by the way, I have a little story about eye contact and 100% of attention. 3 months ago in Palm Springs, Dan Rather came to give a presentation. And I had the benefit of meeting him beforehand because we had the same agent for bookings. And so I met him, and it was eerie. I gotta tell you, it was eerie because he was so present with me. He stopped, he looked right in my eyes, and it was probably 5 seconds, but my entire being felt transformed because he was seeing me. And I guarantee you, if I was ever to meet him again, he would without a doubt know who I was. I mean, and again, it was 5 seconds of my life, 5 seconds of his, but look at me, I'm here telling 200 people about my 5-second experience with Dan Rather. Because he was so, so present. Very, very powerful.
Question.
Yes?
Okay. How do you do a recommendation of when you are not at the time to listen? Someone comes in and you can't give them the 100% of the time.
Great question. The question is if you're not in the position to listen and be 100% present, what do you do? Anybody have any suggestions? Set a time, set an appointment, and it's all in how it's communicated. Now, I don't have time right now, but what you might want to say is, you know what, I'm just not really in a place right now where I can give you 100% of my attention. It's kind of like tell them like it is, but do it in a very compassionate way. I would love to meet with you maybe a little bit later on. Can you maybe outlook me? Okay? It's about being honest and being trustworthy because you want to be there present. Because remember, if you're not 100% there, guess what? They'll know it. They'll know it. It's a great question. Thank you. Now, once they appear to be done talking, here are a couple things that you can do. Definitely, when you're talking back to them, use the person's name. I think also Dale Carnegie was the one that said that the sweetest sound that you'll ever hear in your life is when someone calls your own name. I mean, I know when I used to do corporate training, I would remember, I don't know how, but I remember everyone in the room. And when they raise your hand and I say, yes, Lisa. And their look was like, how did you remember that? Because their name tag was down here and I could only see up here. And I would get on the evaluations all the time. I was so, not from my training, not the brilliance of all the material, was Trent remembered my name. And it was fascinating, the simple little things.